All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into game one between HybridFrog and Yulath. Yulath is going to be the Zerg player at the top of the map, whereas HybridFrog is going to be the yellow Protoss at the bottom of the map here. This is the SC Reddit Open Tournament number 7. I am Harlequin, and with me today is Atomica. So Atomica, we've actually seen a whole lot of Zerg versus Protoss maps today, and especially on this map as well, but what are your opinions on just general strategies for either of these players?
I'm sorry, I was distracted by the enormous lag. I a lot of the casting that I do in King of the Hill involves gold platinum players, so I'm not quite sure if the players are comfortable in doing the kind of cheese that I see. But normally what will happen is a pylon or a proxy barracks will go behind the grass that's near the mat of the other player, which can be extremely deadly. Because if you don't do that, there's an extremely long rush distance, and just building up small amounts of units like a 2-gate or a 6-pool just becomes relatively ineffective. So both players are going to be forced into kind of doing a little more macro than they're probably used to.
Yeah, it's definitely awkward, to say the least, to get an expansion up anywhere. Your natural is incredibly vulnerable. Your second natural is defended by rocks and low ground with high ground all around it. The gold is defended by rocks and is out in the middle of everything. And even the farthest away expansions point towards the other player. So it's kind of hard to grab and defend any of these pretty well. So usually when Zerg gets more than one base, they have to be very aggressive with their creep and all that sort of stuff. So for the most part, it looks like Yulath here is going with the normal speedling sort of opening. Not much more to say about that. Whereas HybridFrog has got a second pylon going up, a single gateway, undoubtedly going into a cyber core because he's got gas up already. So probably looking for more of a varied, at the very least, gateway kind of army.
Right, we're definitely seeing a pretty standard opening on both players' behalf. Nothing too strange like a double Evo chamber broodling. I don't even.
All right, so there's that cyber core. This is the wall off that I usually see. Is just cyber core, gateway, and a single zealot, and then he's going to actually unfold into probably what'll end up being three gateway robo or 4 gateway undoubtedly.
What is that?
There's a big bunch of lag right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, a lot of players, what they'll do is they'll put the pylon exposed to the ramp and then put their gateway beside it to make their wall, which really isn't in the world because the pylon can be torn down extremely easily and leaving your production buildings without problem very early in the game. So rather doing the cybernetics core gateway, it's a very robust wall and still allows you to get everything out in time. There's really no reason you shouldn't do something like this.
Ooh, early Evo chamber from Yulath, right as we said that. That usually only means that he's going to be getting roaches and he's going to upgrade them to 1 attack right off the bat. But he might very well be going for lings and getting a single armor upgrade off the attack. This is not a very standard build. I don't normally see Evo Chamber at tier 1 unless for some reason someone has a really good suspicion that the player is going for a Stargate. And we see it Forge and a Gateway coming up here. So looks like at the very least HybridFrog is going to be upgrading his weapons, if not putting down some defensive cannons.
Right. I would like to point out that HybridFrog actually has a lone proxy pylon kind of west of Yulath's Nat. Yeah, it's just right over there.
Yeah, that's
so
right
it is
behind that tall grass.
Yeah, that grass is, like I said, especially deadly. So if he goes 4-gate, he can simply warp units right across the map and be right there.
And so this is very curious. Yulath is going for upgraded melee attack, level 1. That's a strange opening. I hope he's getting banelings, because a lot of people don't realize that the melee attack actually upgrades the banelings as well. But I hope he's going for that, but we'll have to see what he's doing exactly, because it's kind of hard to justify that unless he really does have some very long late-game plans about getting Ultralisks and things like that. Usually you don't bother with the upgrade, with the melee upgrade. Meanwhile, I guess he's expecting a large Stalker army, but that would be kind of crazy. But in reality, it's a couple of sentries, a couple of Stalkers, and some Zealots. So yeah, maybe the melee attack could go pretty well. Usually, when you see like big Idra games and that sort of thing, he will go for just the armor upgrades. Just he tries to counteract the weapons upgrades from the zealots. But here we're seeing the exact opposite. So kind of curious where this is going.
Right. Might be trying to time his Zergling push with that melee weapon upgrades. And yeah, just to clarify, Yulath did not see that pylon when he ran those Zerglings back. If he waited just like one more second before turning them around, he would have spotted that proxy pylon. Instead, all the Zerglings are just sitting at that observation post, and he has 20 more on the way. So actually, it looks like he's just going to go for those those +1 speedlings, which is pretty interesting.
And this is, I think he's being a little overambitious with his army here. The shields will help a lot from those
Whoa!
Sentries, but that is a lot of Zerglings. I mean, this is a big
Force
fat
fields
Zergling
going
push
all
here.
over the place.
Definitely a little overambitious, but the shields really did swing that in his favor. They made up for a lot of unit discrepancies there, but still pushing. And now that he's chasing these zealots back, he's very aware that there is this proxy pylon back here, and is going to have to end up dealing with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little too late, as he does have units warped in already and has that foothold.
And I really like that he took this second expansion and he didn't really saturate it. Only because this is actually kind of an all-in Zergling push, which is a strange build. I don't normally see this, and this certainly isn't like a popular top-tier strategy or anything like that, but he's really just using that second hatchery as production. And really good use of shields there, really narrows the approach and makes the Zealots a lot more effective.
Right, he's actually opting to go for his level 1 Carapace now. So he's getting armor as well as attack for his Zerglings. Not a extremely... whoa, he's running way faster. He's going right for the pylon. Here. Yeah, actually a very good play by him. And the pylon
I hope he doesn't bite him too much that he sacrificed all those lings. But he definitely took that out, but now he's got kind of... Well, he's a reasonable army here, and he bought some time for the spine crawlers. That could be just what he needs. But this is a tough army to fight with all lings. This is like a perfect anti-ling army.
Absolutely.
Enough sentries to counteract the fact that they can surround you.
HybridFrog has definitely been practicing his force field micro. Just beautiful amounts of force fields going down all over the place.
And he's just losing so many lings having to reposition every time those shields go down. Looks like this could be the end of it. I mean, he's got 6 more lings coming. We'll have to see how well those can resupply, but I don't think he's got the numbers to take this. I just question the entire meta strategy of saying, oh, I'm going to go for lings with upgrades. That seems kind of insane. I don't really know where that came from.
Right. Going into a game, having like this clear-cut plan of what you're going to do, like, oh, I'm going to do battle cruisers right off the bat, it's generally not the best thing, because when you get locked into that, you become a little bit unresponsive, and your tunnel vision will prevent you from really taking in your scouting information and responding.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, and I couldn't have said it better myself. He just locked himself into one blind strategy and then started doing it, and then just did not... I mean, anybody else who would normally see... Like, if I showed you on paper, I said, oh, here's a whole bunch of zealots, and here's a whole bunch of sentries, what do you do? Anybody would say, oh, I'm just going to go and get roaches, or get hydras, or get... You think about other alternatives, but when you've already committed yourself to level 2 weapons for your Zerglings, you just keep thinking, Zerglings, I'll just use... Or, sorry, level 1-1 is rather what he got, but you just keep thinking, oh, Zerglings, that's the solution to everything, and then you lose the game because of it.
Absolutely. On the other hand, HybridFrog responded very well, having that very heavy sentry mix into his army, which just easily overpowered the Zerglings via a very good force field micro.